point is, you want them to want to talk about it.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
To be
just
interested
like knowing
in what we're
which
doing.
questions are better as turn and talk, and which ones are better as everybody writes. You know.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a key one there. When you think about like the depth at which they can discuss it, right? If it's a question that's very factual and like the answer is cut and dry, and it's like something that's right there, there really isn't room for them to discuss it further. So then for you as the teacher to then insist like, oh no, I need you guys to keep talking about this, you're gonna be like,
But if it's like,
what? You know, I already said it, I'm done, right? We talked about this, it's settled. There isn't room to agree and disagree about like whether the sky is blue or not, you know what I mean? It just kind of is. So it has to be like, you know, what causes the sky to be blue, right? There's some room for them to discuss there, and there's some room for agreement and disagreement, which is, disagreement is not a word probably. No, it is.
It is a word,
Disagreement.
Yeah.
What am I doing? All right. You know what I mean. So I would think carefully about those types of questions too. That's a really good point, Karina. So one thing that we'll be doing along these lines to give you guys an opportunity to really reflect on this yourself, because I think we're really good about setting goals, but I think it's also really important that we like follow up on them and provide some structures for just thinking about our progress towards them. And so one structure that I think will be really helpful towards that, to this end, will be some self-reflection. And so, Karina, I already was in your classroom capturing some We Do.
I don't know that it was really We Do, but
It was like that page of your packet.
Yeah. That was a terrible video.
In that case, though, it will offer some good space for self-reflection.
Okay.
But what we would like to do here is, and I'll pull up the tab, you'll be shared on as we collect, we're aiming for like a 7 to 8 minute video of the We Do. And we'll put a video link here, and then your job would then be to like watch the video and reflect based upon these questions. What are you most proud of in the video? Provide a timestamp as you can, like a specific moment that was useful or that was really helpful and effective with students. And really being specific about like what were the teacher actions that you took that led to that effective moment. And then also specific reflections revolving around the academic and the cultural focus areas. How many minutes did you talk during the We Do as opposed to how many minutes did students talk, right? What were your types of talk that you used there? And including some frequencies around that. Oh, I used cold call the majority of the time, or I used turn and talk, or I was using a little bit of everything. Those will be really useful in determining our progress towards our cultural focus. On the academic side there, really looking for like, oh, okay, what were the CFUs that I had there? Was I really specific about executing all the CFUs that I planned into my lesson plans? Did I have lesson plans in hand? Those kinds of things are going to be really useful reflections to see kind of what progress you made towards the academic focus area. And then last questions were like, how did your students respond to the break it down questions? Were they effective in helping to guide and scaffold student understanding? And if you could go back into your video, what would you tell yourself to do differently? Right, so just a couple quick reflection questions. I would say if your video is like 7 to 8 minutes, you know, your reflection time should be somewhere comparable there. I think like a total of 20 to 30 minutes for the task in all, but I think this is a really powerful opportunity for you to look at and just say like, what does my We Do look like at this moment? What can I do to improve it? What things are already going well? And what progress have I made towards these goals? Sound good?
Yep.
Any questions on that? I'll provide links as soon as they're live. I think yours should be uploaded by now. I will put the link in there, and then I'll put a little comment there with a plus Karina so that you know and that you can get psyched about watching it. It's going to be okay.
People have access to it?
Everybody's got access to it.
That's terrible.
That's
I don't want anybody to see that.
No, nobody's got access to it
It's
but
really
you.
bad.
The link will be here. The link will be here. Until that video is shared with everyone, then I don't think everyone has access to it. But I think that there also is some value to like putting our teacher practice out there and saying like, hey, here's what's happening in this room, here's what's happening in this room, and giving other people the opportunity to see what we're doing well and what we're working on.
It was so bad, though. So bad. Okay.
Was it?
It was really bad.
What's the
Really
why?
bad. Well, here's why. Because I think that I broke it down too much for them. And once they started the independent practice, they all got the questions right. And they were much more engaged doing it independently than doing it together as a class. They were bored. It was too easy.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the reflection. Like, hey,
So
let me
they were,
extend
like,
this.
crazy behaviorally.
Yeah, let me extend the everybody rights opportunities there at the beginning that we do, and
Right.
like give them more time
Right.
to just like
Instead
do
of
it
modeling
and then review it.
something, yeah.
Because I think you're right. I kind of saw it going that way.
Yeah.
I was there for most of the I do, and then like you got through the
Well,
first one and then the
so
second
I
one,
don't
and
think, yeah, the I do, we do doesn't match the structure of what we did today. I don't think.
then kind of though.
I think it's like notes. I
Yeah,
think generally notes. But yeah.
yeah. But you were like providing lots of opportunities for them to engage, and I know, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Like it was
wasn't
hey,
like a
what are some
model.
examples of length?
Yeah.
What are some examples of? And it wasn't necessarily like you saying it completely.
Right. Well, I think those were notes.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Yeah. I don't think of that as like what I do. You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, at the beginning of a unit, like when you're building vocabulary,
Yeah.
you know, it's different.
Yeah,
It was like guided notes.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm with you. Okay. Great. There we go.
I mean, I'll still do that video for this, but I'm just saying.
I hear you. Is there another day that would be more useful?
Like any other day.
Any other day ever that I've taught?
Yeah, any
Um,
other day.
All right.
It's just because it's the
Your
very
video
first
will-
day of our unit.
Yeah. But I think
No,
it might be a
I-
useful reflection
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Right? Because it seems like you have like a lot of stuff that you're nitpicking about it already.
Right.
And so maybe it will be useful to see it.
Yeah.
Plug and play. See how it goes. I'll be swinging by to capture some video of you. I'm trying to think what's going to be the best time to catch that we do section.
Today?
So think about after you've done the guided notes, after you've introduced the skill and done your modeling. You've already done language board.
Yes. I would say
Have you already done the do now?
no. We haven't gotten to the do now. Yeah, I know. We haven't gotten to the do now.
Okay.
See, I think that's the biggest issue for me is literally timing.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I try, like, I can like never get around to like them doing their independent practice because we're still going through the guided reading or like
Yeah.
the we do section. By the time we get to like independent practice, I'm like, you know, it's like 10 minutes left of class before
Yeah.
transition, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. So I would just think about, and I think that's why the reflection will be useful.
Right.
Thinking about like the ratio, right, between what parts of this am I doing together with students, like actively during the the reading of the story, and to what extent am I releasing them to do it and then review it after?
Right.
Because I think you'll find that, you probably get to a greater level of depth, like with each and every question when you go through it one by one, but you probably also are getting caught up in the weeds on some of the questions and you're going deeper than you probably needed to.
Right.
It might be more useful and also lead to a more productive conversation that like really addresses what everybody's thinking.
Right.
If you have them like read through the story, so say you have your text there, you want to read these pages, have a couple aligned questions like planned in there, just like post-it note those right in. Ask those questions as you read, packet aside, and then come back to the packet after you've read through it, because that will like help pick up the speed there.
Right.
And then say like, okay, here are the questions. Remember that today we were working on, and give that kind of before releasing statement.
Right.
Today it was like determining a character's beliefs
Or
based
how
on-
they change based off of their thoughts, beliefs, or thoughts, actions, and dialogue.
Okay, determining how a character's beliefs change based upon their thoughts, actions, and dialogue. As you go off to your work today, I'll be looking for you to jot down like the thoughts, actions, and dialogue that you notice for this character, and how it led their beliefs to change on this column.
Right.
And like maybe you do one guided example and then just say, okay, next one you guys do on your own. Go.
Right.
Let them write about it, walk around, like get involved in that way, notice what they're doing, and then call it back after, you know, after 3 or 4 minutes. And I think in that way you'll just like get more of a flow, and students will get more into the.
Yeah. Because I haven't been getting to the independent practice at all, and that's like
It's
not okay because it's part of the reading. You know,
big
like
piece.
they're supposed to be reading, doing it on their own, and I'm over here like I barely make it to guided reading, and then it's like time for us to go.
Yeah. So I would say that might be the flow that you go for, right? I do get through those in like 30 minutes max, and then start reading, read through your chunk of the text with students in like 5 to 7, right? They're probably around 5 pages, I think you guys had, maybe 3 or 4 even. And then go through, give them an opportunity to practice. Okay, when I say go, you're gonna turn and tell your partner what the dialogue was here and what it told us about the character's beliefs. Turn and tell your partner. Great, let's jot it down. Next one, this one, you're gonna write it yourself. When I say go, write down what the character's dialogues, actions, and etc. were, and then we're gonna talk about it with our partners. Ready? Go. And then after that, you release them to practice. Yeah, because it's going to affect you, like your ability to get those step tests done.
Right.
Is if you're not doing the independent practice, like that needs to be a protected hour.
Yeah.
For sure. You have approximately 3 hours in that classroom there.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be carving out time for them to work and for you to do the other individual interventions.
Right.
Crucial. All right. Great. So that video reflection template will be shared with you here when your video is up and live, and jump into those reflections. It'll be really helpful. Last piece here is around the academic focus. Karina, did you write that one? No, you didn't? Who was that?
I think Easter.
Jim or Easter? Okay. I was going to pitch it to you thinking that you had written it, but it's all right. Really around reviewing, right? So also focus on the we do, so really close alignment here. But in this one, it's focused on the reviewing of the key skills and strategies after we've kind of completed the practice. The key here, a lot of these teacher actions are going to be things that we've seen before, but I want to zoom in on this one right here. So in addition to like making sure that we have like our CFUs planned in there, we have our types of talk, we have our student exemplars, in addition to kind of those baseline expectations that we've had there around key points and around questioning, what we want to do here is really start to ID like what is my focus question for this lesson, right? And so what is the thing that I want students to be able to answer at the end of this block? And so in your case, it might have been why don't you tell me? What was the big focus question in today's lesson?
Today is just analyzing how character changes over time, or through their thoughts, actions, and dialogue. And so one thing is that one of the characters is Little Man, who the beliefs that we inferred, like reading the previous text, is that he likes to be clean. And from reading today, his beliefs have changed, that he doesn't mind being like, so, and one of the things that he did was like, when they were making up digging the hole, like, he didn't mind getting dirty or anything.
Right.
But so we're analyzing how he's changing throughout the text, and we're introducing a new character as well. So
if your big focus question there was like, how did our character, Little Man in this case, change, right? Beliefs change throughout the course of the text, right? Then the break it down questions are really where we make sure that students are equipped to answer that big question. Asking that question, you might ask it and say like JP, and he'll go, right? You need to know what are the kinds of break it down questions that go below that help scaffold student understanding so that they can gradually put the pieces together and ultimately answer that larger question. So for that kind of question, we might start with something definitional, right? Start with like some knowledge, key points there. Well, okay, what are character beliefs again? Oh, character beliefs are like what the character is like their values, right? What they think
Right.
and what they believe about